Arizona's restaurant industry took a significant hit during the COVID pandemic, but the state's restaurants have bounced back and are now, in many cases, looking stronger than pre-COVID levels. For more, we welcome Steve Chukri, President and CEO of the Arizona Restaurant Association. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Nice to be with you.
So things look like they're going up and have been going up for a while here. What's going on?
Ever since 2021, obviously you and I had many a conversation, difficult ones in 2020 with COVID hitting us so hard. Arizona restaurants lost 1,000 restaurants that year, Ted, on top of about $3 billion worth of just financial losses, sales losses. And I'm pleased to tell you we've made all that up. And this year we think we might hit $23 billion in restaurant sales in Arizona.
How do you explain that?
You know, I think a lot of it has to do with people moving here. That is, there's no question. Our population growth is going up in numbers each and every day, as you are well attuned to. In addition to that, we've just got a lot of restaurants that are really getting more into the expansion phase. So restaurants that may have only had 1 or 2 locations now are expanding, which has a lot to do with it. But when you add all the numbers together, our daily payroll is over 20 million just right here in Arizona, with almost 300,000 people we employ. And we've got about 12,000 restaurants now.
Of those restaurants that are doing really well, is there a common denominator? And of those restaurants that aren't doing as well as perhaps they would like to be doing post-COVID, is there a common denominator there?
There is. And those restaurants that are very successful, they have to make sure that the ambiance is there, the service is there, and most importantly, the food quality. If you're missing on any of those levels, you're going into that other bucket you just described where you're not going to be doing so well. So it's important because the consumer today, our customers, are very, very selective in what they want. And if they don't get it when they go to a restaurant, they're going to go elsewhere.
As far as the restaurants succeeding and these great sales numbers, what does it mean as far as jobs are concerned? I know that we've talked before about the difficulty that many restaurants face trying to find folks. That difficulty still there?
The difficulty has waned substantially, fortunately, post-COVID. So we're at prior to COVID numbers, and we're actually growing our workforce to almost 300,000. So the numbers as they relate to workforce are much improved.
Technology impacting the industry very much, impacting the labor force?
100%. Amazingly so. We have AI technology that will take over our drive-thrus and our quick service restaurants. We've got robotic arms in the back of the house in many restaurants now. So technology will be a key part of our future as we grow.
Does it become a key part even more so because of labor costs? Talk about labor costs, how they impact restaurants here in Arizona, and where you go from here. I mean, are restaurants literally changing what they do because of labor costs?
We are, sadly. And, you know, our human capital is the best that we have in our industry. They're our family members. Our employees are our family members. But when labor continues to get more expensive, Ted, you can't always pass that on in menu pricing. People will revolt. They don't want to spend $45 on a hamburger. So it's a delicate balance. I will tell you, we have to have our employees, but technology will continue to be a part of what we do.
And as far as I know that there's a legislation out there regarding tipped workers, paying them 25% less than a minimum wage. I think it's $3. You tell me what it is now and what the legislation calls for and why the Restaurant Association is for this.
Correct. It's in response to the unions coming in, trying to take away our tip credit, trying to change the tip structure we enjoy today. What we're trying to do is preserve it. We're trying to preserve the status quo. As the tips will grow, as the minimum wage will go, so will that tip credit. And the most important thing for our tipped workers is they want to continue to make the tips they're working today, and this legislation allows them to do that.
And is this also a response to a ballot initiative out there for raising the minimum wage?
It is 100% a response to that.
Yeah. I guess critics say that if it would be difficult to get workers, although you're saying this has waned, but they're saying if there's a problem getting workers, the problem is they're not getting paid enough. How do you respond to that?
Oh, I think if you look at the gig economy, you look at Uber drivers, Waymo drivers, whatever the case might be, we're on constant competition, right, with a lot of different other workforces. So, no, I would say that's more poppycock than reality.
Speaking of competition, so many new restaurants out there, so much going on. How does that competition play into everything we just talked about?
It is. You have to be very good at your game, or else, you know, we have a saying in the business, make sure you have a seat at the table or you end up on the plate. If you're not performing, you'll end up on the plate.
So does it impact the industry in terms of which restaurants are opening? How many are expanding, as you mentioned earlier? I mean, when I see how many restaurants are opening every month and every year, it's amazing.
Well, sadly, Ted, we have some closing as well.
Yes.
But when you look at all 4 segments of the industry, it's amazing. You see growth in all 4 segments, from quick service to fine dining. So that's the good news. It's not just one segment's growing and others are hurting. all four segments. You've got new entrants coming in from outside the state, which is another welcomed piece of what we like to see in our industry. New restaurants coming from a different part of the country. So we're healthy. We want to continue to be healthy, and we owe it to our customers, because if we're not performing, they're not going to walk through our doors.
Last question. Is Arizona, for a while there, it seemed like we were getting a little fancy as far as the high-end restaurants are concerned. People were kind of looking down here and say, wait a minute, things are happening. Are they still looking this direction, or are they looking to Vegas and other areas?
Well, we're still looking. I think we're very much attractive to many other restaurants in other states, because we have so many diverse people coming here from all over the country, from the Midwest, now a heavy influence from California, and that's what restaurants are looking for, is that diverse palate, and that's what brings them, I think, to our state.
Last question. Inflation, how is that playing into everything?
We wrestle with it every day. Very difficult, very difficult. Inflationary pressures have really driven up costs to the industry, costs that we've been able to manage, but some costs we've had to pass on by way of menu pricing.
And you can pass along that too much, and then you get your loss of balance that you referred to.
Absolutely. You don't strike that balance easily.
State of the industry, though?
Healthy. And we want to continue to be healthy, but I think we do have some storms in the future. We just have to navigate well and make sure that we can do the best we can to provide a welcomed environment for our guests.
One of those storms, the labor costs that you were talking
Absolutely.
about? Steve Chucri, Arizona Restaurant Association. Good to have you here. Always a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Nice to see you.